fam, welcome back to my channel and welcome back to another video. Today I will be showing you how I make yam pie. If you're interested, keep watching. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Put on your post notification bell so you don't miss each time we do an upload. Also, don't forget to comment below. Let us know if you would have made this recipe before, and if you did, let us know what you did differently. Now let's get into the video. To make our yam pie, we are first going to start off by prepping the yams. Here I have about 2.5 pounds, I think, of yams, and I'm just going to go ahead and get rid of some of that dirt that is on there, as you see me here. And next we are going to go ahead and cut it into smaller pieces, and then we are going to peel it. So I will speed up that process as I peel. I would love for you to comment below. Let me know if you would have made yam pies before. What do you do differently? So once I would have finished peeling the yams, I'm just going to cut it into smaller pieces, and that helps with the cooking process. So I will finish everything and come back with the next step. So that is it here. I did add some water and some salt to help flavor the yams, as it could be very bland. Next we are going to allow it to cook for roughly 20 minutes, I think. I can't remember the time, I should have checked that. But anywho, you want to cook it until it's nice and soft. So while that is happening, we are going to move on to some of the seasonings that we will be using. Here I have some pimento pepper, some garlic, some onion. I also have some chives as well as some parsley and also some small leaf thyme. So I will just go right ahead and speed up the process of me basically cutting up the seasonings. And this is what it looks like after I would have done that. I will set that aside, and we are now going to check the yams. So the yams are cooked, and I just slid my fork into it and it came out really well. So what I'm going to do is to remove it from the heat and leave it in that very hot water, and quickly move ahead to sauteing my seasoning. So I'm just going to go ahead by adding in some oil. I use coconut oil in this case, to a skillet, and next add in the seasonings, and we are going to saute it to help the flavors, all the flavors, to come together. All right, so that's why we are sauteing it, and then it will be easily absorbed into the yams. So once I add that in, I'm just going to mix that around until everything is combined together, and we are going to allow it to saute. While that is happening, make sure that you keep an eye on it, but we are going to move on to the cheese. Guys, look at the cost of the cheese. Wow. Anywho, I'm just using some regular cheddar cheese. Any kind of cheese can be used. 2 cheeses can be used as well. It's based on preference and choices. So I'm just going to go ahead and just shred some of that cheese, and here is it. That's the amount I'm going to be using today. So quickly, what I would have done is add the hot yams to a bowl, and next I'm just going to quickly use my fork and mash it as quick as I can. No, you don't want it to get too cold. It might be a little bit more difficult to mash, and of course you want to make sure that everything is melted, such as your cheese and all of that, when you add it to it. So I will go ahead and mash it, and of course if you do have a potato masher, then you can use that. Here I have some margarine, and the story with this margarine is that I did not take it out on time so that it came to room temperature. I actually forgot. So I am just going to add that in. Now, if that does happen to you when you're doing stuff like that, you can simply microwave it for 10 seconds and it will soften it up. But I just decided to go right ahead and add that in, and then I'm just going to mix it around. It did take some time to melt in, but that's okay. It did work out after all. Next I'm adding in the cheese, and once I add in that cheese, I'm just going to mix it until it's well combined. Now this recipe does not have any eggs in it. All right, the yam by itself could hold up depending on how you prep it. So once I would have added in the cheese, I'm just going in with some evaporated milk. And I will leave a link in the description box below with all of the ingredients and the measurements that I used for this recipe. So once I add the milk, I'm just going to go ahead and mix that in really well. Once I would have mixed that in really well, I'm adding in the sauteed seasonings. And next I am going to add in the parsley, which I did not add to the seasonings when I sauteed them. And I'm adding in some cayenne pepper. Black pepper can be used as well, some extra salt, and of course you want to make sure that you taste your pie as you go along before you add any salt at all. Okay, so once I add that in, I'm just going to mix that really well until everything comes together and it's evenly distributed throughout the dish. More or less the recipe. So don't forget to comment below, let us know what you do when you make your yam pies. All right, so this is the consistency I am looking for. I don't want it too wet, but just enough so that it can basically absorb all of the goodness that we're adding into it. All right, so here I'm just going to add in some nutmeg, and that nutmeg basically helps with the flavor profile of the yam pie. So once I add that in, I'm just going to mix it until it is thoroughly combined in the recipe or the mixture. Next, we are going to place it into a lightly greased bowl. Don't forget that part. You want it to easily come out after you would have baked it and it has cooled. All right, so here I'm just going to add in the mixture, as you see right here, and then of course you can see bits and pieces of the peppers and the parsley and so forth. So once I would have added that in, I went ahead and level the top of the pie. Next, I'm adding in some extra cheese on top. Again, any kind of cheese can be used. You can use 2 cheeses, that's up to you. Also, this can be made into a casserole dish as well. All right, by adding things like tomatoes, carrots and so forth, if you choose. Excuse me guys, I'm not sure what's happening with my voice right now. Yeah, that can be made into a casserole as well, having different layers like a lasagna. Okay, so next I went ahead and add in some more of that fresh parsley on top, just for decorative purposes and of course to give it that nice elegant look. So once I would have added that in, I'm just ensuring that it's somewhat evenly distributed across the plate. And guys, let me explain what happened to me here. So while I'm adding that in here, I'll explain. The thing is, I forgot to preheat my oven. So when I add in the yam pie, the cheese was actually melting already. Yeah, I was so embarrassed. But that's what happens when you forget. So make sure that you preheat your oven before the fact. All right, so here is the yam pie, and I did allow it to bake for roughly 35 minutes. Yes, and then I did allow it to cool, but I did not allow it to cool enough. So what happened here, you would see that I did have a little bit of a struggle in terms of lifting it, of the pie dish. All right, so it was still very warm. Yeah, I was actually very anxious to cut through, so it was still very warm. So if you want a very perfectly cut slice, you want to ensure that it's completely cool. So if you're going to have that for a gathering, also make sure that you prep it in advance. So here is a slice of the yam pie. Y'all, the camera is not doing it justice, I'm telling you. Please try that recipe and let me know what you think. Okay, so thank you so much for watching today's video. Don't forget to comment below, let us know what you think. Until the next time, see you. Bye.